Hello and welcome to the Pawn Pro Pod. Today I have Daniel from P2M.ai on with us today, and we are going to talk a little bit about P2M, and he's going to give a little bit of background on where he came from and why he is here to help the pawn industry, which is amazing. So hi Daniel, welcome.
Hi, Tali. Thanks for having me. So excited.
Yeah. So let's just kick things off with telling us a little bit about how you got started in the pawn industry.
Sure. I'm originally from a diamond company, Yerushalmi Brothers, and I had a good friend who was also a good client of mine, who told me that he was buying diamonds from pawn shops, and I didn't know anything about pawn shops because I'm from Israel, and our company was more on the traditional side of diamonds, which is mines and manufacturing, etc. But I was super curious, because it sounded exotic. I don't know how to describe it. So I just started to study everything there was about the pawn industry. I actually went with my friend to a tour with his suppliers on the pawn industry, and I just fell in love. I just saw an industry that I think is misunderstood, that has a lot of potential, that is underserved, and that's it. Just got into it.
And how long ago was that now?
So I discovered the pawn industry, I think it was May 2021. Then I met my partners, Or and Udi. I know that most of the industry knows Or Barak.
Yeah.
He conquered the pawn industry in pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then I think it was, we really got into it October 2021. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's really amazing. And the reason why I wanted people to know that is because in just 3.5 years, like, you guys have made a really big impact and a really big difference for a lot of your customers. So maybe talk to us a little bit about what P2M does.
Sure. P2M actually started as something different. It started as an app to help pawnbrokers with what we heard was a not nice experience with diamond dealers. That they come to your store and then they fight with you about the price, etc. But I think we were naive at that point because we didn't understand that in this day and age you have all this technology and what texting and Facebook groups. So the diamond dealing is not the same as it was from pawn shops to diamond dealers let's say 10 years ago. But we discovered a very, very different big problem. A lot of our clients on our former product told us, listen, our biggest need, our biggest pain is that we are lack funding. I mean, we're essentially a money machine. We sell our money at fairly good profit, good collateral. But from some reason, banks frowned upon on us just because for unjustified reputation. And I could relate to it very quickly because I know it from diamonds. The diamond guys have the same unjustified reputation when it comes to banks, and pawn shops have it, to a different degree. But still, I can relate to it. And then we thought to ourselves, okay, let's dig into that idea. We fell in love in the pawn industry, as we said, and we understood there are a lot of opportunities. I think on our former product, we didn't understand that it wasn't the big need, but we thought to ourselves, okay, if so many of our clients tell us, listen, stop buying diamonds and start selling us money, maybe we should do that. And that's how we got into it. I can talk, until tomorrow on it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's super entrepreneurial. That's like a quick pivot. And it's hard to teach entrepreneurs that, like, sometimes when you start something, the way you come out is totally different than your original intention. And that was like, I remember seeing you guys at a trade show and you guys were buying diamonds, and then the next trade show you guys were lending money. I was like, that was a quick pivot. But I think, I've done, a handful, maybe like 8 episodes now of this podcast, and I always ask, pawnbrokers, what's the biggest challenge they face? And they always talk about right now lending money and not having enough to lend. And it's like the timing is really good because it feels like there's, pawn shops are not just cash strapped, but they also can't get financing from banks. And then also there's this like huge loan demand right now. And so it just seems like really good timing. So maybe like what kind of customers are you working with? Is it single stores? Is it multi-stores? What's that look like?
We have some multi-stores. We have some single stores. It's not like categorized to one type of clients. Basically, there are clients that want to expand. I mean, I was on a different podcast, I don't know, a few months ago, and they told me, listen, which pawnbroker would you won't recommend taking a loan? So I said, pawnbrokers that don't want to, and I'm saying it, as directly as I can. Pawnbrokers who don't want to grow. They say, listen, I'm okay with what I got. I got my loan balance, I got my working capital, so don't take our money. Or if you can take our money from the bank. I'm being honest. I mean, banks have better rates than us. But if you want to grow and you don't have other options, so you should at least pre-qualify to P2M. Because we just had 2 clients who were pre-qualified and they needed funds and a big amount on the spot, and they got it on the spot. I mean, in an hourly basis, and they were so grateful. And they told us, listen, it's a win-win. It's the best thing possible. So I think those kind of clients are our most common ones. Clients that want to grow, want to expand, and they lack funding from institutional funding from banks.
Yeah, I think that question is important because you're not just working with big established multi-store operators. Like, it's any size pawnbroker that lacks funding or lacks a relationship with their bank, that's just interested in growing loan balance, which I can't imagine pawnbrokers in the industry today are not interested in growing their loan balance as the demand goes up safely and risk protected and, underwriting really good loans. But like, now's the time to establish a relationship with somebody that can finance you, because you never know when something's going to walk in the door and you're not going to have enough cash in your drawer to lend on it.
That's why I think it should be, now pawn is booming because of the economy and everything, but even in standard times, I think you need to be pre-qualified, because just as you said, you never know when the good deal is gonna come in the door. So just have the money ready in case you need it. That's it.
Yeah. What's how much money are you guys lending to pawnbrokers? Like, what's the range?
So the range is between 20K to up to $1 million. Of course, there are degrees. So if you want 20K, the underwriting is easier. If you want 50K and up, it's a bit harder.
More
if you want, it's degrees.
Yeah, of course.
But we can support any kind of loan. We started off. We're trying to start off with our clients slow, because we think we need to establish. It's a two-way street. So we need to establish.
Yes.
Trust with our client as well, but we know how to grow really quickly. So if we see that you're making your payments and everything is okay, our clients can tell you themselves. We know how to grow pretty fast.
Yeah, and what do you use to establish that trust and relationship? What numbers are you looking at? What kind of reports do you need?
So again, it depends. Sometimes it's just bank statement and like a CRM dashboard report. If it's a bigger loan, so it can be the balance sheet, a tax return, a lot of technical stuff. But mostly we would like to see that money comes back. I mean, a lot of our clients are they have a fairly big loan book, and they're telling us, listen, 20K, it doesn't interest us. When we tell them, listen, We have a process in the company. We cannot just do what we want. So let's start off small. If we
Yeah.
see you're making your payments, that's the best indication that we can have.
Right.
So, yeah, that's what we're looking for.
So what I'm hearing is it's not this huge barrier to entry. Like you're not looking for a million documents and a million reports, and it's simple for somebody that maybe is a smaller store to get started.
Exactly, because I think that's another challenge that pawn shops have with banks. I mean, banks ask them for a lot of stuff that they don't necessarily have or know how to get, quickly. So we're trying to be as accommodating as we can. Of course, sometimes we will ask for, it depends on each client. Sometimes we will ask for, more documentation, but we
Yeah.
really try to be accommodating because I think that's our advantage. We know pawnbrokers, and a lot of outsiders outside of the pawn industry, I think they don't understand how,
Totally.
they don't understand that most pawn shops don't go out of money. I mean, it's a pretty safe business, it's a
Yeah.
lucrative business. They rarely go out of business, and because we know it, and we know that pawn shops are true to their word, it's easier for us to do the underwriting.
Yeah, I think that that's a good point. Building banking relationships takes a lot of time. It's a lot of education. If your banker leaves your bank, then you have to start the entire process over. And you're just constantly like building and teaching and educating and getting frustrated. And then some banks will just, I think, based on policy, they'll just stop banking with the industry
Yeah.
altogether. So you could have an amazing bank relationship with a local branch of a big bank and still just get turned off one day. So it's hard to protect yourself from that.
Tali, I gotta say something about it. We have a lot of clients who told us, listen, our bank just cut us off like this, no warning. I mean, we're reaching out to you because the bank just cut me off, no warning, and it's not like they give you time. They give you, okay, listen, in 6 months I'm gonna cut you off.
It's like 14
Just
days
take
or your bank
exactly.
account's shut down today. Yeah.
And your money, your business is the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a cash intensive business. You cannot be without your capital of source. So I think like if the biggest thing is, and I don't think it's gonna get any better. I mean, I'm not trying to
Yeah. I don't think so either.
I don't think exactly. And the regulation is just gonna be harder and harder. So I really think that the pre-qualification to any kind of source of money, not only P2M.
Yeah.
As a pawnbroker, you need to have it ready.
What's your favorite part about being in the pawn industry?
The people.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much. Again, I can relate to that because I come from diamonds, so I understand. How can I explain it? Outsiders won't get it, but these people are so smart. And a lot of times outsiders of that industry don't realize that. And I'm always saying to people from our team who don't know pawnbrokers, you don't even know how much you can learn from them just by negotiating, just by they're taking 10 steps ahead, but they won't let you feel that they're taking 10 steps ahead. And I like it. I respect
Yes,
it.
innate. It's
Excuse
innate
me?
in pawnbrokers. It's like innate. It's like in your blood, kind of.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
um,
Exactly.
I think that that's one of my favorite parts too, is the people. And like some people are new to the industry and just started stores, and then you talk to people that are multi-generational and grew up in it, and there's just a lot to learn from all of the different perspectives. I think once you're in the pawn industry, I say this all the time, like it's hard to leave. Like it's just a really
you see.
good industry to be in, and the
Yeah.
community is really solid, and I think it has to be that way because of the stigma and because of the external kind of association with it. And so it's kind of like being in a club, and once you're in it, it's like you want to fight for it and you're passionate about it and you never want to leave it.
You're so right, and we didn't leave it. I mean, in our when P2M was like the diamond buying thing,
Yeah.
and we stopped it. We could have left, but we weren't able to do it.
Yeah.
We were just drawn to it. And I'm so happy we didn't leave. I mean, we love this industry. We're glad to be a part of it. I'm more back of a scene guy, but I'm with all along the way, and I experienced it with him, and it's amazing. And we're learning a lot, and we're having fun, and just happy to go to work.
That's amazing. What's your favorite part about leading and starting a new business?
That's a great question. The challenges. I mean, it's so challenging. You hear about it, but you don't understand until you experience it. It's like always you have fires all over the place, and you need to put them away all the time. But you're having fun while putting them away. And when you have most days, let's say, and I'm sure you know it as well. Most days are hard.
Yeah.
I mean, 95% of the time, you quote unquote suffer, but it's worth it for the 5% when when
Figure something out.
exactly when you have
Yeah.
the success. So things of it was worth it. When you see a client happy
Yeah.
because you were able to supply him with fast funding,
Yeah.
and he will able to do like a big a business, and he were able to profit a lot from it, and you profited and he profited, and he's
Yeah.
happy and you're happy. I think that's the biggest win you can have.
Yeah. I just I have a bunch of, kind of leadership mantras that I'm sure my team hears me say all of the time. But recently I heard one, which is leaders run towards problems. And so I feel really passionate that part of being a leader is seeing problems and running towards them, just like as fast as you can. And I think a lot of, people that don't have that mindset bury it or put their head in the sand or run away from it or things like that. But the faster you can get to a problem as an entrepreneur, the better. Obviously, the outcome is better for you and it's better for your customers. But I always tell my team and like teams under them, when there's a challenge, I'm like, if this doesn't excite you to figure this out, you're in the wrong role, because it should be like exciting and fun. And it's like, it's really challenging. It's going to be really hard. We're going to show up to work. We're not going to nail it every time. Every day is a new day. Every day presents new opportunities, but also new challenges. And something that we thought was going to work yesterday might not work today. And if that doesn't excite you, then the role's not right, because it's got to be, you have to like it. You have to like the challenge. But I agree. Part of being an entrepreneur is just being challenged all the time.
I 100% agree. I'll tell you more. I think you can't, when you're an entrepreneur, you cannot live without it. You cannot live without the action.
Yeah.
I think it's in the blood.
Mm-hmm. Well, the good news is there's always some department or some like team or some person that's like having challenges. There's like, as long as you have more than one person yourself and more than, 0 customers, there's always something to fix or make better or optimize or think about how you're going to scale and do it over and over.
I agree.
What did you do before you got into diamonds? Have you always
So I
been an
started,
entrepreneur?
I was at, I'm from Israel originally. After high school, we were all getting drafted to the army. And then I went to New York to study at Baruch College. And then that's it. I just went to the diamond industry. Had a lot of fun doing it, but always search for something, just as we said before, challenging. I came to a big business already. I could just as easily just, kick back and enjoy. But I wanted to build something meaningful, something that I would be proud of, looking, when I'll be old one day, looking back. And I'm really happy I'm doing it in the pawn industry.
And did you always know that you wanted to start something of your own?
That's a great question. I think I knew it in the back of my head, but I think I always knew that my biggest enjoyment is winning. I don't know how to explain. I think I'm talking about myself all of a sudden, so I'm a pretty shy guy, but I think I was always had this passion of winning since I was a kid. When I think about my biggest joy and the thing I enjoyed the most is winning. And I think part of winning, and I think you know it because you're doing the same, is building something of your own, and succeeding in it.
Yeah.
So it's a good question. Nobody asked me that. Thank you for the question.
Yeah. What's your favorite leadership mantra or like philosophy that you really lean into today?
Wow. So it's in Hebrew. I'll try to say it in English. So there's a movie in Israel. It's called Grandma Operation, and the lead character says, "You know how you win a race? You start as fast as you can, and then you take it up a notch." So I
Yeah.
hope you understood what I'm saying, but it's
Yeah.
like start as fast as you can and then go faster. And I
Yeah.
think that's I think that's my biggest mantra.
I think that's a really good mantra. Speaking of like problem solving, one of my business problem, like my mantras is like solve today's problem today. And I always tell
Amazing.
people that like we can hypothesize problems forever, but let's just solve like today's problem today. But I really like leadership and business philosophies and mantras like that because when you're leading teams, people relate to different things differently. And so I might use that one. Like we're gonna start sprinting and then we're gonna get even faster. And if you
Exactly.
don't set your bar like really high, then you don't know that you can go above it. So
Exactly.
um,
Exactly.
whenever you lower the bar, then you're like you're always under the bar. So I think that that's an awesome philosophy. Well, thank you so much for being on today. It was really
Thank
nice
you.
talking
It's
to
so much
you. I
fun.
got to learn a little bit more.
Thanks.
And I hope this was really helpful. Like I mentioned, it's the number one challenge that pawnbrokers are facing is banking relationships. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they go about doing that?
So we're on PHP. We have a banner in Bravo. And you can always, I know everybody knows Or Barak, so you can always contact Or Barak or go to our website, p2m.ai, send us an email, chat with us through the mail, through the chat box. That's it. We're all
Okay,
over the place
perfect.
in the pawn business.
When I post this, I'll make sure to include some of the links so people know how to get in touch.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it. Have an awesome day.
Thank you, Tali. Bye
Okay,
bye.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.